welcome everybody to this month's Derby Recreation meeting. I call the meeting to order at 6:13.
Second?
Roll call of our members.
Celine Muldowney.
Mark Sam? David Paul?
And Mike Boltone. I feel like I'm talking like this is a game show. I'm like, what am I doing? Reading the previous minutes. I sent those out to everybody. It was a whopping 24-minute meeting.
Yep.
Any questions, concerns?
Meeting, right?
No, neither one of you two were. Neither was, and the other 4 was here, so. Do you want to table this until we get the other 2 people here, or do you really not worry about it? It was just all it was talking about the bills, talking about making sure we pay the bills or approve the paying bills, and then receiving the check for the youth soccer. Oh.
Well, I
Good.
can't vote on it because I wasn't here.
We can't pass it, so we're gonna have to table it. Not a big deal, but. Bills and claims.
Okay, so since I missed the last meeting, there was a little miscommunication because Dave dropped off the bills and then I didn't know I was supposed to go
And they wouldn't let me sign it.
right. So I went and did that and those bills were taken care of. And I picked up all the bills for the following month, but since we were so protracted in having this month's meeting, I went ahead and paid them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no duplicates. It's basically janitorial service for July and August, G. Mello, Wilkinson, and John DiFilippo, who takes care of the sprinkler systems. I did not get a chance to stop by town hall today to pick up subsequent bills.
Dave can just let me know he's unable to make the meeting today.
Unable to?
Unable, he's at the restaurant, I don't know. All right, so you pay the bills there.
It's like $1,100.
And according to Tracy, we don't have to even, you just pay them and let us know. It's not have to worry voting on them anymore.
Okay, so
So-
I will do that
Yeah.
anymore. That saves time. But we should have a subsequent person, a backup person
Mm-hmm.
to sign. And what was the way to do that?
I didn't think we finalized that was coming out, so we may have to,
She told you, she sent an,
Eileen or Ellen or Tracy.
Ellen, I believe, sent a message.
Hello, Mariah. Grab a seat. Just the 5 of us. Plus our guest.
Hi. Hello.
Hmm?
There's a way to vote to have a backup person if I'm not around.
I thought that we were discussing that you could pay.
I could, but I had to have something had to be
We
approved.
need documentation to give her, whomever, authorization to sign any documentation relating to our bills if Celine is in a position, is unable to do it in a town manner.
So I will ask Tracy.
So like having missed that meeting and not, someone could have swung by.
The difference?
So can we, is that a motion?
Yes.
We can, but then the document that you sign, we all end up signing it to show that we are all aware of it. Remember, we signed a document that affected him.
This one?
No, there's a document authorizing you to sign.
Am I supposed to sign this?
No,
Well, let's-
Yeah. Oh, please do. Sorry.
it's okay, it's already.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mike, you wanna take that responsibility?
Yes, I'll be more than happy
Then I'll
to. She'll
make
be
a
here all
motion.
the time. I'm not worried about it.
I make a motion that Mike is the subsequent signer of our financial payments if and when Celine is unable to make that happen. There'll be documentation, I believe, that we will all need to sign, but in the meantime, we can, I think that could be signed individually, so if I signed it, gave it to you, pass it along to authorize Mike to approve it, but I'd like to do it.
Second.
If that doesn't work, we will clarify with Ellen, make sure that works, or with Eileen, to make sure that's effective, and we can go forward from there.
We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Animal defense. I would like to, make a motion to suspend the order so we can discuss with our wonderful visitors tonight about their program. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Welcome aboard.
Thank
Slide
you.
on up.
Slide on up. Slide on up.
Slide on up. Grab your chair and come on up.
Right.
We're a,
We'll bring these ones
And your
back.
phone's about to fall.
What's that?
your phone's about to fall.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
These are better.
The cozy chair.
Those are nice ones.
Yeah, well,
Tell us a story.
So the story begins.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
could
you
you
actually
just
do one.
can you introduce yourself?
Oh,
Cameras
yes.
up.
With your address.
Jean Ackerley, library, the director of the New Town Library.
Christine Howe, Newbury resident and yoga instructor.
So Chris came into the library last spring, to inquire about doing a yoga program at the library geared toward the aging crowd.
I like that already.
And I love the idea right away. I had been sort of looking into yoga, not necessarily for the aging crowd, but yoga is being offered in a lot of libraries these days, and it's, as everybody knows, it's very popular. So we spoke, and we launched, I think it was in June,
We did.
what I think you came up with the name Aging with Ease Yoga. And we've been able to, it's sponsored by the Friends of the Library, we've been able to offer one Tuesday a month, it's the first Tuesday.
Yes. 'Cause the next one's coming up on the 9th, 8th.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's been very successful. And my hope had been at the time to possibly be able to have a second one, so to have 2 a month. But the people that are in the program have been asking for a weekly program. This is beyond what the funds can afford. I had reached out to Celine, I think last spring, just as we were launching this, to see if there'd be any, if she thought there'd be any interest from the Recreation Committee to possibly collaborate on this. The library trustees are very interested in collaborating with other groups in town. We've collaborated with the COA quite a few times, it's been very successful. And seeing as your mission is basically the recreational needs of the town, that includes aging
We're
folks.
interested.
That's great.
I need to get the first part out of the way. How much? And I have to be blunt about it, but it's really gonna come down to if we have the budget. I mean, I think will be favorable. It's gonna be a question of how much we can make this work.
Well, Chris has been incredibly generous, she's only charging the friends $60 a session.
So it'd be $180 a month.
Yes. I'm thinking, we're not, our community room policy does not allow us to charge fees for events, but it occurred to me a few days ago that we usually put out a friends jar, donation jar, for any friends sponsored program, so there's really no reason why we can't do that for this. So I can't say for sure right now, but I'm hoping that we might be able to cover most of a second program. So
Well,
it might be
I'm just saying here, so if it was $60 a week, that's $100, $180 a month. Times the 12 months is $21.60. So that's what we're looking at when we look at our numbers, our spending for that. I think that's more than reasonable, just making sure we can get it into it.
How many students do you have?
We've usually had a good 10.
What's the
sign
maximum,
up.
what's the maximum class?
I think depends on, I don't know if we've maximized because it's based on the room size. So it could fit anywhere, I would say comfortably up to 20,
I would say that. I don't think you want to go any higher than that.
right? Then it would be, sort of cozy.
What are
But-
those? Is it
We've
hours?
been doing about 10:30 to 11:30 on a Tuesday morning.
So you wanna keep this at the library though for consistency?
It's all, whatever you folks would like to do.
Every year. Go ahead.
I guess my only question is, the more often you offer it, would people tend to like skip one, or do they make more of a point? I mean, that would be for you guys to answer.
It's
Would they
hard to
make more
say,
of a
I don't think we've had the only weekly programs we've had have been like 8-week sessions or something. We've got a writer's workshop right now, so I don't really know from experience. I think that's fairly likely, because, you know, you could say people aren't quite as invested because they haven't paid for it. But I don't know. I mean, people have just loved the program.
Selfishly, your hours stink. Just because I'm working during the day and I'd love to start.
Well, I would love
My
to,
doctors
yeah.
have been telling me to start doing it.
And that's one of the reasons why I had gotten into it myself. I had back surgery in 2015. I had been a very active runner. All of a sudden, like, I couldn't even bend over. So, you know, it was one of those things that I started getting into. And I realized that it wasn't about looking like a pretzel or standing on my head. So for me, it was adaptive, and I actually found that you could do a lot in a chair, and that doesn't necessarily mean just sitting in it. I've also, I am a volunteer with an organization called the Veterans Yoga Project. So I've gone through their mindful resilience training, and I'm looking for opportunities as well to give free classes to veterans. And so if that is ever something that the town would entertain, I don't have space or facility, but it would be a wonderful way to give back, because a lot of vets today basically need it.
Very much.
The training of the program that I've gone through is to literally certify me to go and work alongside a clinician in a VA or a medical facility. So the idea is that it is part of a larger treatment program, but to, you know, yoga brings a lot of mind-body connection, and I think that's what I've enjoyed with the crowd that's been coming into the library was, you know, one of the women who, first of all, after she told me, I was like, ooh, I wish I had known that at the beginning. She had broken, like, not only a hip, an arm, and a shoulder or something like that, and I had her on the floor, and she was like, I have no idea how you knew what to do, because I made her feel comfortable, and I just said, you know, I watched you, that's all, I just watched you. So it's very helpful to people, and my interest is getting that out to people, as I said, the aging of us who are out there and need to stay flexible, both in mind and body.
What is the ability level you're targeting this towards? Are you getting people that are like,
All levels.
so like super novice to beginner type thing?
Yep, I had a woman in the last class who had never been to a yoga, so it is not as Simon says, it is basically leading a practice. So I tell them if they are interested in doing something more dynamic, they're free to do that. They can stand while I, instruct some of the chair people.
Mm-hmm.
It's all levels, it's really been all levels.
Good.
Would it make sense to do 2 at the library, 2 at Mantor?
Well, here, I remember a while ago, 2 years ago, we spoke about this. Winter time might be tough at the field house. We're down to 55 degrees, so we have to turn the heat up. The plumbing doesn't get done as a priority as a big library. And I would be concerned that we say it's at the field house in December and there's a snow, we can't get it open, and that becomes a problem. One of the miles discussed years ago was you're already open, say, during September through or October through April, May, and then keep people coming to the library. In the summer, your hours are reduced significantly, correct?
No, we just went open on Saturday.
Okay, so it's, okay. Having it up at the field house where it's not really the field house, but you have the great outdoors. And I know a number of programs like doing not necessarily the beach or along the river, you could be outside in the field. If there was inclement weather, which is one of the reasons why we push to have the field house available, it could actually be moved indoors without a disruption of service.
You wouldn't have it in the open space?
They could offer at 10:30 in the morning when it's still cool outside. And then if you want to move
Well,
it
I
outside.
wouldn't do outside with older people.
What
They
is your
could make-
temperature range that you
Well,
work
I
at?
just
Does
like-
it matter or is it,
Temperature?
yeah, is it just room temperature or is
Yeah.
it?
They could move it wherever they want. The idea is that be an
This is
easier
personal.
avenue and open up the space, show visibility that these things are happening in the field. And then if they couldn't do it, that's okay too. But the idea is it is visible to more people to see. If you're not on a website, if you're not on reading the local paper, you may not know what's going on. But if you drive by, because at 10:30 there are a number of older people who are driving out of Byfield, they may see it.
But the question isn't about who sees it, it's about where it's, can we host it?
You can put it wherever you want on the field. It doesn't matter.
No, we're saying, is it impossible to do it inside the field house?
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
No, there's
That was the whole reason behind the field house. If it rained, you could go inside.
You'd be able to put 20 inside the field house. It would be tight.
Now, are there chairs available in it?
There is not now, that's not to say we couldn't do something.
Because folding chairs are ideal.
Now molded chairs.
No, we have the molded chairs, but honestly, the folding chairs, work much better for certain positions. It's a lot easier to, move to the side because you don't have that. Again, I've worked with what we have, it's worked fine, and people who have practiced before will bring their mats.
Yeah.
So I'll usually position the chair on the mat, so that again, it limits slippage. And if they feel comfortable, ask them to come and stand behind their chairs, and we use that to do a little bit of stretching.
So maybe when the weather gets better in the spring, and if you chose to try the Mantor,
And I've done that
Yeah.
for other,
yeah,
people,
to have that option.
because what you require, I think particularly again for, us older people, is something where you have stability.
Yeah.
And so beach yoga is not gonna be
Right.
it, there's too much viability
Right.
with the sand, but the ground, a nice grassy field
Mhm.
Maybe
works
we'll be a
well.
little forgiving, that'll just help a little bit.
Exactly.
We've gone from once a month to possibly twice to four times a month, then to twice a week. So are you able to handle, because all of a sudden we're getting very ambitious on this side of the table, which is not a bad thing. I just want to make sure, what is your expectation? Is once a week, is that enough? Could you do it 2? Could you do it 3?
I think if there's interest, I could do it.
Okay, I just wanna make sure to see whether it was you, whether someone else, because when we're looking at, right now, we really haven't launched a program. Mark worked something out with, the Ultimate Frisbee group that, in the field, which was great, and we're trying to bring more people in. We certainly would love to do something like this. It's just something, I wanna make sure what your bandwidth is, what your availability is.
But you're paying per session, so you have to be cautious of that.
Yeah,
You can't
month.
just say 3 times a
Fine,
week.
so that'd be $180 a
think-
week, then that would be, that would get, because they're only talking about paying for one to 2 sessions a month. We'd be talking about 12 sessions a month, we did it 3 times a week or something like that. I mean,
Well,
if it's-
also, I do feel the more you offer,
the less it's gonna be busy. If
well,
we have
people have
options.
more options, so they won't, the less you offer, the more people make a point to go to
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
and that way it's kind of fuller
Right.
class.
Right.
I'm just trying to find people that work during the day, that will,
But this is for
Advantage.
older people, most of
Right.
them are more.
it's not just for older people.
It's for, the demographics I consider are 50 and over, so, I was gonna say, I fall in that category. In my head, I'm still 35, so hey,
But no, I'm just saying, that's the one thing that I'm looking at. There are some people that they would like to take advantage of this after hours, after the workday, because it's a great way to undo the day.
Or Saturday night.
Absolutely.
What's the policy on us for, if people wanted another class, but they wanted to pay for that, can we charge for that? This is just a separate question. from
Yeah,
what you guys-
this is a us question. I think we're gonna run into problems, because people are gonna be like, why am I paying for this class? I said, well, it's paid because this is off the time, we're paying for this, because it's more of a target audience, and then we can be considered.
are discriminating against one group compared to another, so that's a balancing act that we're gonna have to look at unless we figure it into,
A different concept,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean, everybody paid $15. Then it would offset the numbers and wouldn't be disciplined. I mean, nominal fee, nothing crazy. I'm just trying to think, Mark, go ahead, you may have a better idea of this.
Two things. One, I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We're looking at 3 times a week for all year round. It may be better to offer it and use let's go 6 months or 8 months, or whatever a good break is. See what the numbers are, collect the data. The other thing we're not thinking about is we may need to go out to bid. If we are offering a service, that we may need to offer it out and say if anybody's interested in providing yoga to this, we will pay you, because that's what we're doing.
Are you saying you would be required to go out to bid?
We have to
We
check
may
with,
be.
we have to check with the town to find out if
Yeah.
they can make us do it.
Anytime we procure services,
That we have to pay for.
Yeah, okay.
or if when we were looking at seeking donations for the basketball court, we were informed and now I'm saying in exchange, as acknowledgement of
Foundation.
their generosity.
Yes.
We were informed that we need to go out to and make it public so that everybody has an option, so we're not just looking at one vendor.
Okay. So that would apply to collaborating with us in this?
I would have
You
to.
have to get, okay.
It would be something that we would check with Ellen and or Eileen and Tracy and say, what is the procedure here if we are to do this? But be that as it may, going forward, I think it's a great idea. I think if you take it and we look at a reasonable schedule, reasonable period of time, once a week. If you wanna do 2, that's fine, but I'd rather collect the data before we start over expanding.
Well, and we're committed with Chris, I mean, definitely through the end of this year and forward till the end of the
Would you
fiscal
be-
year probably.
Would you be opposed to collecting some data, quick
No,
survey or
no.
something? Just to get an idea, to say, it's really, I'm talking a couple of questions we put together. Just say, if this was offered on after work, a Saturday, I mean, I know the library's not open, so we kind of have to please the town, but if that was offered, would you be interested? Do you know other people would be interested? And leave it at that, just to see, as Mark was saying, get some data to support what we're doing. Because if we see the need, we see the interest, then we can.
Can I make an addition to that? If you wanted to talk to Council on Aging
I have.
and ask them to collect data from their clients. So we get in a bigger pool than just who's being served now. Because if they're saying, look, we have 120 people here, 80 of them want to do yoga, but we can only get 10 because of the timing, that would give us more information to work from and provide better we collectively as a town of Newbury provide better services.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And if they said, look, we need it 2 days a week, because I'm just thinking of when I was up in New Hampshire, the bus that took everybody to shopping went on Tuesdays, and well, you didn't have to worry about it if you had your own car, and you could go here. So the idea was, geez, if there's another day, then that the vendor could make two happy. Then we have that data to say, here's what we're doing. It's not just, hey, it feels good. We have, so that would be great. And
Absolutely.
that could
It
be a
sounds
very
like,
short term.
it sounds like on our side, we're very interested. We want to support. We think it's a very healthy decision for everybody involved. We just have a little work on our side we have to do that we don't want to take too long because we do want to get this going. But if you guys are willing to work with us a little bit regarding time and data, we can start our side to find out what we need to do. And if we do, as Mark said, do have to go to bid. Unfortunately, as long as you understand, it is not by any means a knock on you, a knock on anybody that's offering the service. We just have to follow the certain protocols that the town enforces us to follow, just as long as everybody's aware of that.
Either way, it's great for the community.
And that's what we want, and that's all we want. We want to make sure everybody's okay.
And so you started this spring, you'd say?
June was the first.
June, because I'd be curious to see what happens with,
School year.
well, winter months, if it decreases at all or increases. I know a couple of programs ramp up in the winter because people are housebound. You know, the programs go the other direction because of transportation. And if it was something that, again, coordinating with the COA, if they did the transport from, pick people up to bring them to the location, whether it's a library or the field house, that would make a lot more sense as opposed, particularly those are limited in their mobility and driving becomes an issue. And if there's a way to create more synergy with the 3 departments, committees, to make it fully utilized. Does that make
Does the
sense?
Council on Aging ever do anything in the small gym at the school?
One of the great conversations I've had today, I think it's very tricky. There's some reason why that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I can't remember which.
That's a space that's like a non-space, but they,
Yeah.
they still use that space?
Cause I had originally spoken with
It has to do with insurance,
That's
you have to,
liability.
yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're umbrellaed under the PTA, you have to provide your own insurance, and then there's custodians that have to be there. So I know that ends up being costly.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah,
It's a great space.
it is.
Yeah, I know, it is too
So let's do this. Let us do some homework.
bad. Okay.
You have Celine's information, how to get a hold of any of us, and then we're all on the website, which is.
Okay.
If you get a chance, peek in the field house, the door in the main area, and take a look.
So on the right.
Yeah, there's bathrooms on the left, and then you'll see a little kitchen area, but you can see inside, you get an idea of the size of the space.
Great.
Because it would be nice to utilize that space.
If it's something we can do. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a cement floor, but with the mats and stuff, so you're not gonna have the pliability there, but you're gonna have, another option. We'll try.
I don't think it's cement. I think it's wood with a.
Oh, is it? I
vinyl,
apologize.
yeah, no, it's wood with a vinyl, I believe vinyl covering on top of it. And I think we want to use, we have that
Oh, yeah.
space. We want
I
to
certainly
make
do.
use of it. So
And again, if you have folding chairs,
we don't.
We more than happy to look at that. You make sure
that usually
we get an
suffices.
example of what we're
Yeah.
looking for a type of chair.
Yeah.
And we can certainly either find out what we have available to us, or if we have to, buy something for the place and leave it there, it's something we can work. I hope this helps. I hope you realize that, yes, we are interested.
Yeah, very much so.
We certainly think it's a very good thing. We just have to dot our i's and cross our t's on this side to make sure that
Awesome.
town doesn't get
That
mad at
was
us.
a bit
Thank you
about
for
that.
the conversation.
Oh, we appreciate it. It's hard. All of a sudden you go from one thing to, all of a sudden we were getting a little ambitious, as Mark said. But I'm looking at
I
it.
think you're ready for a yoga session.
My doctors have been after me for years, and it's just, I got a crazy work schedule, so it's tough, and I'd like to try that. They said it was the best thing. It was very low impact on the joints, and that was what I need. So, but we all appreciate you taking the time and coming in.
I just had one last question. Currently, you don't charge anything. And as Selena's pointed out, at one point I found this out with other events. A lot of times people feel if it's a drop-in, it's really nice, but there's no commitment. And some people add a very small fee, $2 for 10 sessions. So there is a commitment. It's negligible,
Right,
but it's not like you're getting this for free.
yeah.
So, and that would be part of that question to have is, should we ask for, and I don't know how comfortable it, and again, talk to Meg to see what her thoughts are about the seniors.
About collecting fees, is that?
Collecting a nominal fee,
Because, we can't do that in libraries.
Very can't, right. We can.
Yes.
If that would make sense to have, during the summer when it's up there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, a lot of different angles to look at.
Mm-hmm.
The other question I didn't get to see, I was going to ask you about certification.
Yeah, all
Okay.
my certifications, and I do have liability insurance.
questions
Well,
for
I
us?
think it's a great idea.
Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for bringing it.
Wow.
Well, still, I'm interested. I certainly hope we get to get it out.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you. Very much.
Good meeting.
Fun subject, nice.
Make a motion to turn the meeting back to its regular order.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Let's go. First thing on the list, which is what we were talking about at the end of last, or 2 meetings ago, was the spending plan. I have put together a basic spreadsheet of some of the information that was accrued that day. There are some opening areas for the cleaning supplies, the alarm system, wireless connection software service, and the water bill.
The water bill is, they said.
On a monthly basis?
No, annually, they said figure 500. Right now they're figuring $450, but they said figure 5.
For a month?
Year,
Yeah.
annual.
Yeah. So, do we need an extra copy of that?
The spreadsheet?
The-
No, I sent it out, it's in your email. I'm looking at it, I've actually got it, I mean, unless you wanna look up that thing.
They have a copy sheet.
No.
I'm just updating, so anything I get, I'm updating the numbers, so. We have a starting balance of $50,000. If you take the Mellow at 1,700, the Filippo at 2,000, Townsend was $300 a month, for 3,600. Septic was 1,000, porta potties was 125 for 8 months, each, which was 1,000. Mowing at $1,250 a month for 15,000. Electric at $75 a month, for $900 annually. Fire was $150, cleaning service was $600 a month, $7,200, and the water bill was $500. If I'm missing numbers, I am not opposed to it, so please let me know if there's something I'm missing, or we can add to it, but it's just a moving document right now, we wanna try to get an idea. Because if we're gonna drop a couple of $1,000s, if we're able to, and things proceed, there's still things need to be done on a program like this. We have room right now, it's under 17 grand.
We have how much?
From all the operational costs we have so far that are annual numbers is $33,050. This may be a little bit high just because we were kind of rounding up if we ran into things. I will send this to everybody right after this meeting as well, so once we update this.
So,
Like I said, there's a couple of things. I don't know what we're talking about for cleaning supplies. How much should we project for that? Ballpark?
Maybe 500,
500, 5,000.
did you say 500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's not gonna argue with me on that.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't
does
know.
that include
Bring their
toilet
own
paper?
they bring their own cleaning supplies,
Yeah.
we just supply toilet paper and paper towels.
And we don't, it's the town,
The
right?
town,
Yeah.
yeah, so she gets it from James.
So I
Alright,
don't,
so,
I don't know.
I mean,
how-
it may not be that much then, okay. The alarm system,
I have no idea on that.
Susan was
It's still on,
working.
right.
I hope we're not paying for it. Unless the town is, the town can pay for it, and then start billing us once they fix it. I'm just trying to add in
She said she
pieces.
would let us know when it's when they turn it on.
I think the next two questions are gonna also fall into Susan, which is the wireless connection and software. Well, actually, that one, and then we gotta figure out the software site that we wanna do.
I
Or
thought we
they,
decided
for them.
against it. I thought we decided,
I don't think we decided against that group.
okay.
We're still looking at other alternatives.
What's your calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's priority. That and this need to be,
That and what? The spending plan?
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I'm sitting here doing this. But again, we still have the alarm, we have wireless connection, and the software system. Those three things we've got to figure into our budget to see what's gonna cost us. And then after that, we get an idea, we know that's what we're gonna be spending annually.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we know we have to do the program.
roughly 10,000.
If you're saying the last of these three things is gonna equal $6,400, yes, that's correct. We're at 60, would be minus those three things, we have $16,450 left.
So you wanna know from Susan an annual,
An annual cost for the alarm system and a wireless connection, which,
okay,
that's just make sure if there's anything on a wireless connection we have to pay for. If it falls into someone else, I'm all for it, any media can pick it up. Did I miss anything on this list? I mean, I was chicken scratching going through it.
Well,
I think the numbers are in some cases a little high. Celine, do you remember what DiFilippo's contract was? It says 2,000 here.
I don't.
And
Those are my notes from that meeting, so I went down literally through everything that we were talking about.
because
Alright,
Mellow
just text
is 135 and we have it at 170, so I don't,
What was 135
that's what they are,
at B Flippo?
no,
No mellow.
no,
That
but
was 137.
37, okay. Point being, it's not 170.
We're back to 16,780.
Okay. And I don't wanna get too far in the weeds here, because
No,
Mellow could go up another $10 a month,
Yeah.
so. Townsend is at 300. Did we amortize what the fuel costs were this past winter?
No.
Alright, because we have it at 300 a month for 12 months.
mm-hmm,
So, the month of August, it was 154,
Okay.
so that's August. So,
Was that only,
don't have the bill in front of me, I just have,
she sent the,
that's probably refilling.
We're essentially what we're doing is we're paying for all work.
Mhm.
Because that's something that's being heaped into this. It's only use of fuel at this point. Wintertime will be whatever we do. If we do
Are we shutting it down in the winter, or we don't know?
no, we can't. I mean, it has to
Well, this
maintain.
is
the
different
building,
temperature.
the building, I didn't anticipate us using it from say November till mid-March. And
So we're gonna bleed the lines.
no, what they typically do is just keep it at like 50 degrees, 55. And it's for the lines and the foundation.
Yeah,
I
you don't wanna
remember.
turn it down too low because then you have problems. So I think that
Um,
I don't know that we ever really paid any Townsend bills until this year. I don't think we paid them last month.
because we didn't officially open up the bill.
Right.
yeah, it wasn't water. It was water.
But if we're keeping it at 55, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what a realistic, this might be realistic, I don't know, I don't have anything to vote
alright, I have just for information wise. Was it D Filippo? Was it he?
No, take a look at his water.
Okay, so,
No, DiFilippo is the,
on. Irrigation.
Irrigation, yeah,
Okay.
irrigation. No,
I mean, back from, so August of last year for D Filippo, 364. 95, 130, 130, 130, 500. That was from August 16th through the end of January. So I mean, maybe the 300's high and we back into 220
for,
his the money we accrued, I was looking at it in the rest of the year.
I think with what we, unless there's something really wacky as far as these numbers.
Actually, D Flip, I think does that, we put in for $2,000 for a year, so.
I think the higher, the better we are.
Which is
You
about,
know, come the end of the year and say, oh shoot, we can't afford those shit chairs.
I think until we get better numbers, if we were to say we have $12,000.
to spend on programming,
For discretionary spending,
you're right then.
I think that would be a comfortable number. We can always add to it if we get midway through the budget season and we realize that we will have extra money, we could do something else.
Mhm.
But at that point, it's 1,200 or
12,000
12,000 to,
Okay, so let's figure that right there, so we're using 12 as a number.
Alright,
What was,
She was 2.
she was 2 at 3 meetings a month, 3 additional a month. And that wasn't, because it was,
She was 2 a year at 180 times 12 months.
yes,
Is that right?
yes, 2160, yeah. So that, but that does include that they were saying the Friends of the Library could possibly help out with a number, but I wouldn't wanna use that as a, that's just be help the number if we need to. So that's 2160, that's 3 more meetings. As you were saying, why don't we just, for the next couple of months, if we can get it approved and they're not gonna have a major, because I'm wondering where, if we're only doing it on a test basis, do we have to put this out to bid?
I
Why
don't
do we have to
understand,
put it-
we
why
shouldn't
do we
have
put
to,
it-
And
because
they
they
do a
just,
certain
It's a
amount.
they just,
Newbury resident.
and they also just pick, who's gonna clean our toilets,
Right.
right? So it's not like,
they already have a contract with us.
I don't know, we should,
If you
that's
wanna
an
go
easy,
ahead-
easy
let me-
situation,
let me
just
say,
call.
If you guys wanna do it and just go ahead, go ahead.
No, I think
I'm
we should talk
suggesting
to,
we should find out, and if it's not necessary, that's fine.
yeah, that's easy enough to jot
Yeah,
down.
it's a,
Usually if it's
Yeah.
under a certain amount, it's not a, go into the paper, that we've done our due diligence, and we've looked at
Yeah,
three,
you're
Yeah,
talking-
it's easy enough, yeah.
you're talking if we did 3 months, I mean 3 weeks a month. So let's say we did it in October and November and December. You're talking $540 for 3 months. If we did something like that, where we could get an idea, get some data, get an idea what the interest level is, and we go from there. I don't think we need a bid for that. I think it's over 2 for some reason, but it's a question we
and
would see.
the number, the total number is. If it's under a certain amount, what we would need to do is get 3,
comparable bids for the.
verbal cues like we're looking at with the basketball court. Give us an idea, is this reasonable? Because what they don't wanna have happen is somebody say, I'm gonna give it to my friend and make $80,000, where somebody else is doing it for $5,000. So
She
here,
was saying it's just there through July, so I think that that's realistic, is to say that we'll do it through July.
well, that would go into a different, budget for us, so if we said through June,
Yeah, that's a June, yeah,
Right,
fiscal year,
right,
so,
sorry,
yeah,
so
but
she's
no,
saying the end of the fiscal year.
end of the fiscal year, we could say, here's what we want to
Yeah,
try.
so I think that that would be realistic, is to,
October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 9 months. Times the number,
180.
nothing crazy.
Right,
We could, let me reach out to Tracy.
yeah.
I'm just gonna, I'll email her and I'll copy everybody and then just say, sort of, give her the case scenario
Yeah, and
saying, this is what we're looking to do.
revisit
What, is there anything we need to do regarding the bid, or can we just go forward with this? Or is there a dollar amount, let's say. So 90 times 180,
So without getting bogged down with numbers,
$1,600
what other kind of things do people want?
This spring, I asked her to send suggestions. I received none. A couple of meetings ago, I sent out a discretionary spending worksheet for some ideas that had come up in years past that we could do, such as the skating rink.
do you have a ballpark idea what that would cost? Again, right now, why you have the form in front of you.
$3,500 with an annual replacement cost of $400.
So 35, initial 400 after that, so.
And that's for a, you look it up real quick, but something like a 35 by 50, pretty large. People out of town.
And where would this be?
Where would the location be?
Yes,
Was it Martha Pearson Field?
the one behind the library.
Baseball.
We're gonna have to talk, do we have to talk to someone about that, let them know whether we're gonna put that there?
They're aware of it, they're supportive.
Good idea.
In fact, through them, there was a conversation with Triton Youth Hockey that they have a person who doesn't teach to skate. We could offer that while people are at the library. So the young kids, when they go to the story group, or they can go on a different day, they can go in, learn to skate. Library had said that they would do hot chocolate. It'd be a nice way to bring
So if
people.
we add the two together, if we do the 2160, that's a year with the over. 35 there, not including the 400, we'll have to adjust that as we go along. So it's $5,600. We're still 12 grand, we still have money.
The
It's
other-
nice for a change, every year it seems like we've been, the first 3 years we beat our head against the wall because we've been stuck, we
have money to spend and do things for people.
Replace the boardwalk behind, the playing fields.
Behind it, oh, that's being done by the Boy Scouts.
They're doing the one from Triton
Yes.
over to the fields.
So we might be able to, I think when that happens, we'll have an idea of what's gonna be acceptable, and then we'll just use that as, you know,
There's a couple more lining up that are looking for projects too, so.
I think that whatever he gets approved from the Conservation Commission, however that is designed, then we can do the same thing going on. And that way, we have to have Boy Scouts, but he's going through the process of talking to Packard and all that kind of stuff.
Just also make sure they can raise the money to do it, because that's not something, the council, they have to raise the money.
Yeah, I don't mind giving money to that.
My suggestion or my thought would be, and Dave, you might have more expertise in this area. A number of them that I've seen with the boardwalks are using PT. And if we use a different product, like a Trek or whatever, will we pick up the difference?
Between the PT and the track,
So it's a better quality,
ballpark, and it,
Lots of money difference.
but the durability is,
a lot longer than. But I mean, are you talking about something that we can afford to do right now?
What are you talking about? You're talking about us picking up the covering of the surface?
No.
well, covering the difference. So Boy Scouts could do it with PT.
Do what? Do,
The pathway from Triton,
Yeah.
currently, there are two metal plates that are crossing
Yep.
a stream.
yep,
Instead of, and they're gonna put a bridge there.
yep.
Instead of using
Pressure treated.
PT, figure out what the cost differential is, where we can get a better, more durable product.
Something that's not gonna fall
The
apart.
only problem with using Trex is it has to be, with pressure treated, you can have 16 on center or probably a little bit more. But with Trex, you might have to have more framing, so their framing costs will go up because I think Trex will bend. And so with Trex, when you're doing stuff, you have to keep them.
Your space is gonna be maybe 12.
16, I think 16 is probably, and I don't know what they're using, you know,
Okay.
whether they're gonna do 3 pieces and run a piece going across.
I don't know, if you know, I can find that out.
So what other kind of ideas?
It was senior programming for the YMCA, at the YMCA, so during October through, say, April, they can get 1 hour at the Ipswich Y, then the COA, years ago, when we talked to them about it, they'd be able to drive, those who couldn't make it there, there'd be an hour set aside every day that any resident, any senior of Newbury can come in and use fitness center, the gym, sometimes they have pickleball set up, and or the pool. And that's at $85 an hour.
Per person.
No, total.
Really?
It's downtown for them, it brings people in.
That
through
would
the
be
door.
another survey thing. Maybe we should.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those, it's one of those you started, get an idea of what we're getting out of it, and see if they're willing to survey the data, you have to get us some detail, data out of it. I mean, for $85 an hour, I mean, we're talking an hour a week, 2 hours a week,
An hour a week.
2 hours a week, I mean, for a couple of periods, we'll see.
In particular, it's offered on,
It's $4,500. 44.
So just a quick question, we have all these, we have a certain amount of money that we have, and we're losing a lot more money because we have the field house. Is there any kind of business model that we can set up for us to try to rent that open space so that we actually have income for that open space? I know we're talking about someday doing something with the concession area, but is there some possibility? I mean, I think that's what our thought was originally.
Yeah,
You know,
so it's a,
so that if there is some kind of income that may offset cleaning supplies or something like that.
well, if, I don't know what the number is for a resident of Newbury to use the field house.
so we started advertising it, saying it's a available space and all stuff.
If we were to say, somebody wanted to rent it to do, say, yoga, they would just fill out an application, and they would pay us the hourly fee.
Yep.
And then they could charge the person
Whatever
whatever
they want.
they wanted.
Yeah.
and if it's $1,
Yep.
make the cost, I believe you said it was $6 an hour?
Yes. It was 6 for the field. I don't know whether it was, I have to check the field, I'll have to go back and see.
So it's $6 an hour to rent the room?
I guess my only question is, sorry,
No, it's okay.
$12,000 is what we say we have to
Yes.
spend? And if we do both the Y and the yoga.
If you do the Y, the yoga, and
Just
skating,
putting
and we're
emphasis on the
10 grand.
on the council on aging stuff. So I'm just trying to
I would like to,
balance it a little bit. I'd also like to see, just personally, because I think I sent you an email when I wasn't gonna make a meeting, if we could set aside a little bit of money every year.
For the movie.
Huh?
For the movie.
No, $1,000 or something to, you know, get a picnic table or a bench.
what I was thinking, on the same idea, we should probably think about money for putting chairs in that, so we can, if we
Getting
do have.
banquet tables,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
chair, and not everything all at once, but like every year, just add a little something, like $1,500.
Furniture,
Those could be
$1,000 a month?
low,
No, a year,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
those could be projects done by,
if that works too, that's fine.
but it would be in 2 different areas. You could either go to Whittier, you pay for the parts, you pay for the product, they'll do the labor. Save a lot of money.
But do you wanna get like big banquet tables, or do you just want the ones that?
Whatever you're
No, I
looking
was
for,
talking
whatever you're
about
buying.
folding banquet tables that you
Yeah.
can get at Lowe's.
Right.
But a picnic table or two
For outside,
outside,
right.
or a couple benches along the
Yeah.
parking where
Yeah,
older
So
people
between-
can just sit.
yeah,
So not buying it all at once, but maybe one year buy 2 things and one,
Yeah.
but always have that as a line item in the budget so that it's always,
that's a good
and
idea.
if one year we wanna save a couple years and do a tetherball or swing set.
Yeah.
I love the idea, I think we should go heavy at the beginning and show people that we're doing stuff, and I like the idea of benches. I don't wanna speak for DPW, but if we said, look, could you make us, and almost give them a design, to make 4 benches, a gaga ball set, whatever. They can do it particularly in the winter when they're not as busy, and we said we have $500 for you to do 3 benches and this.
concessions.
Here's the design we want, so they're nice, comfortable benches.
Right. Well, but we could also have quote Whittier to do it too.
My son's in the carpentry program, and they were talking, it's funny, we were talking the other day about it, about all the different programs they're doing, they're redoing their class right now, is out doing, stairs for accessing up from the, lower to the field for games and different things. They also do from the football field to the top of the hill, at Whittier.
Oh, their field.
Yeah, their field, but I mean, that's one thing, but they do a lot of projects and stuff. I'm also thinking the Boy Scouts with arguably benches and stuff like that. That's on them to do it, but again, there's 3 candidates for Eagle Scout warming up right now, 3 or 4, and there's another couple behind it. So, and they're trying to look for things, so if it's something we want to help.
So that's a concept that I would like to put in there and then we can hash out.
I put a line
how
item
we
that says furniture,
Yeah.
it says 2,000, that's what it is right now. Again, this is first year, but realistically, if I put the 2,000 for the furniture, that's 35,300. If I put in the 3 things, which is the skating, the yoga, and the swimming at the Y, that's 10, just over 10, it's like 10 and a half. We pretty much max out, but we still show, based on the numbers, we still show, depending on what the alarm, wireless connection, and the software system is, we still have just under $4,000 left.
So the other programs that I wanted to do, like the movie night,
Yeah.
those can be fee-based.
Yes.
You are nominal
$10 a card.
or something, yeah.
I mean, that's, if you can, it's almost like we used, and I'm dating myself, so I apologize. A couple times we used to go to movie theaters, it was $10 a car, or $5 a car.
It would be an idea to do more like a drive-in theater, rather than sitting out in the grass and getting the ski bikes.
But they do it in downtown Newburyport.
They have the inflatable one down there, yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
cool. I mean, if it's necessary, I'm sure you can make art.
For that event alone, if you went and did that,
and then had concessions going the same night.
Right,
Oh, that's home run,
right.
because everybody's like, I can do this and I get stuff all the way, just to find out what the only thing is, do we let them bring
Do
barbecues
we
and all
have,
stuff?
no, do we have, things in the field house like a microwave? Are there
Yeah,
supplies?
those
No.
things, those are
Do
good.
we need a refrigerator?
In terms of chairs, I know somebody can give anywhere from 20 to 50 single molded chairs that are stackable. And you could use them for as long as you wanted, and then in 8 years, if that's not the style you wanted, you could get rid of them and replace them. But there's something in there that somebody wanted to sit at a table, and I think we should get tables right away.
Yeah, well, that should be the first thing before like the benches and picnic tables.
Yeah.
What do we need, like 4 or 6 banquet tables from Lowe's?
And then, I don't know if it's the molded ones or foldable, so then we can, because it's gonna be a space.
I know she wanted the folding ones, but those things are, you have those racks that you have to put them on.
Yeah.
Where the molded ones you can just stack.
You stack them up, put them in a
What do you
corner.
mean by banquet table, just so I'm clear?
The white ones where the legs
The legs
Yeah.
go
Okay.
in.
pull out.
Rounds or square ones, or
I would
rectangles?
say
Rectangles.
it's rectangle.
Okay.
8 footers.
Um,
Yeah,
there's
you can
six.
come together for
Yeah.
a buffet table.
Can I
Just wanna make sure this,
Can I deviate for 1 second, since we were talking about parking?
From our original deviation, or
Yeah,
well, we've been on this, and this was a big thing,
Okay.
this was our key thing area, so.
alright, so are we done with it? I just have to,
I have numbers here, so let's do this.
Yeah. Great.
I'm gonna reach out to Tracy regarding
the yoga.
the yoga, to make sure, see what we got.
And part of that reaching out, ask her, is it bad? How do we handle it, cause we could have her rent it out,
Rent out the field house?
rent out the field house.
Okay.
To pro-
If she's renting it out, if she was gonna come in and rent it out to us, all she's gotta do is every resident is
Fill out the paperwork.
fill out the paperwork and application and stuff. And then she pays the hourly fee, and then she collects what she wants to, but where they're not looking to collect,
The
then we have to
library
kind of.
can't charge for use of their space.
Hmm?
The library can't rent.
No, yeah, so they got to kind of work through their piece there,
That's why they work for their friends.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think the only other part to that is, that furniture part is to just figure out what the priority is, and I think for right now, the banquet tables and
Mhm.
chairs.
Do you want me to get a sample of the chairs so people can see what they are, or you just
Yeah,
want?
I think that's a good idea.
did you say
You
free?
can take a picture and
Yeah.
send it.
I love free.
I will.
I can send a picture, I can
Yeah.
bring one to
And I'll
your
reach out
house.
to the other two groups to see who's got
No,
interest.
I can bring mine to your
I
I
house.
gotta be careful because
Yeah, it
the
is.
project the Eagles Scouts working on, they're gonna be pulling a lot of resources. But one's doing one over at the Baptist church, one's looking to do, seating area over by the waterfall on Central Street, right across from the field, in that area there, I guess that's Quarter Trees, that's owned by the, Byfield Water, so we gotta find out there, but the West Coast are trying to do this stuff.
So one other thing is when we eventually get our calendar and our own recreation website up and running, we could put a tab for, for that kind of stuff.
Community service, civic
Look-
project
looking-
type of
yeah.
thing, so.
Here's a question about that whole scheduling thing, has anyone approached, computer science departments, either in the high school or local college, and said, here's what we need, can you do it? And there's probably a kid that can go, boom, and we can give him some kind of stipend.
Actually, there's my girlfriend's daughter, Mrs. Central, she's a senior this year, and she's been working on a project. She's taking that class and she's been building websites.
There you go.
It's funny, it was just with her.
Yeah.
She was talking about it.
And so their minds work a lot faster than we, because they're young and they're smart. And we're-
As opposed to buying scheduling software.
Well,
We're gonna find out how we're gonna do it, we're gonna incorporate it to the current website that the town has.
Yeah, I thought part of the issue, and I'm not saying that I like this particular product. The whole idea, and Alicia was supposed to give us more information, that the different town departments are all using the same website. Because the fire department has their own, police uses somebody else, town's using this. Many other towns have one product. And I don't know.
But what wasn't that product, was it?
No,
I don't think so. But I mean, it's a matter of convincing or showing the town that there's a better product for the town as opposed to, because if I went to fire department, I gotta go to the town website, I go here, it does eventually get me to
Can
town
you ask Tracy that as well? Is there any plans to get a more
comprehensive.
comprehensive
And that way, if there's any,
town website that funnels down to each department, but then we can have our own website that then we can add our calendar to? I mean, if we're gonna do it, we should be doing it right.
Right.
But time is of the essence, or are we anticipating that the spring is gonna be kind of a,
I think I have no reason to believe that it's gonna be that
I'll reach out
that
to
much more active
obviously
than it currently
Logan's
is.
5 o'clock in the morning, so I'd be more than happy to draft an email.
Heather did text me the other day, and she said they're only cleaning the bathrooms once a week right now, and asked if she should be doing it more. Should I refer her to James, or is that our decision?
I think that falls into us.
how is it been looking?
I went in there the other day, it was clean, but I don't know what day she's going on.
When I went out on Sunday, the women's bathroom was full of trash. And it was, after it being used, why are people throwing all the water bottles in there? I don't know.
Recycling
Oh, right,
bin, sorry.
But the idea
You want a
is,
big one,
yes.
something like a dumpster style.
wait, can we just, we start going on through all these questions. So do we want it to go twice a week? I think that'd be advantageous, if not go back to 3 times.
I think twice a week is fine, because during the week, it's just practices.
And do you
Yeah.
find that you go in there
I think it
and
should be
the
a
toilet's still
Sunday.
blue, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I saw,
So
too.
Sunday, I think, if it's
Sunday
possible
night?
for them to clean Sunday night or Monday morning,
Yep.
would make a lot of sense, and
And
then
then
Wednesday or
Thursday.
Thursday.
We'll see how that goes.
I would say Thursday, just before the weekend,
Thursday AM
Thursday morning.
and
Well,
Sunday.
I don't know what their schedule is.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's right.
I think
how do you
that's
want to
fine.
go with that?
Wednesday night and Sunday PX. She has been doing it in the evenings, correct?
Yes.
I will write to James and ask him if they can move to.
Are you surviving opening and closing the doors?
Pretty much, there's sometimes that it won't work right away, and then I wait an hour, and then it works.
Do you,
But then it's also, I'm getting texts during the day, and it's not, someone must be locking it on accident. Because Susan has told me there's no way that it can self-lock. But I'll unlock it.
How do you, how does it
You just
lock?
push the button, there's a, like, what looks like a lock.
Oh, okay,
If you push that, you lock it.
oh, okay.
Should we put a sign up saying?
I mean, if
Don't touch
someone's
it.
doing that, they're doing it on, I mean.
well, they could be just nervous and they don't want
Right.
someone to come in and they're just,
I don't know, because there's sometimes, I've been on the field, I've been sitting at my daughter's game, and then someone will walk over, Mariah, why didn't you unlock the bathrooms? And I said, they are unlocked. No, they're locked right now, and I look at my app and they're locked.
Huh.
And there's been people going in and out, and then suddenly they're locked.
I wish we could just set up one
And then
on
a
a
half an
timer
hour
and get that over.
later, they're locked again.
we should test it.
There's days that I've gone on the app 5 times, like I'll check it all throughout the day, and it's locked. But then there's other times that, like right now it's open, and then I'll go to, at 10 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I better lock it. And they're still locked. So it's definitely somebody.
I'm sorry, I'm a lot confused, because we got an email from Tracy back this spring saying they will be unlocked at 9 AM and locked at 9 PM or something like that.
That's the gate. The gate is going to be, but that wasn't either. Are you unlocking the gate now, or who's doing that now?
So I went to Ellen and I said, there's a whole thing where we are now back into opening and closing the gate. I repaired the gate because the gate was off of its hinges, and so I put it back together and I said, DPW, I did something, go fix it, because I want to make sure it's not in my hands.
Suppose the police were gonna come and do it.
Yes, and Ellen said that was her understanding, the police were gonna open it in the morning and the weekends and close it in the morning, close it in the evening, both week, and that's it. I mean, then we didn't have, it won't be open any other time. I think they might have done it for the summer, but that wasn't our duty, it was the police department, so I put it on them again, and I didn't hear anything back from anybody on that yet.
Was it open this weekend?
It was open.
And none of the 5 of us did that.
I did not. So maybe they're back on. Oh, and since we're talking about Fieldhouse, before anyone, because he's gotta go in 2 seconds, and we have to talk about this. That would be a car, like, on top of the field, not just at the edge, but they are parking
So,
way on the grass.
Can I make a
We
suggestion?
never put signs.
That you let the police department call them and let them know they will come in and they'll give a fair warning.
Yeah, and I'm good with that, but why, I mean, shouldn't it be the responsibility of the coaches and the users to say to their users on Sunday, you can't park there. There's no signs, and Ellen said, you used to put down some telephone poles that are, yeah, but they don't look.
Didn't we have that conversation?
We've had a lot of conversations regarding this.
Yeah, James does not want to put up signs that say no dogs, or no, he doesn't like signs, he said that.
What about telephone?
Telephone
And we're talking just laying one across, it's not like we just.
Might be more palatable, some of it has to do with the efficiency of mowing the lawns.
But if you put it right at the edge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking, telephone poles tended to be better than the sign, because people are gonna ignore the
I'm
sign.
all for telephone poles.
I will, when I write to him about the other issue, I will include a question about,
Even if they wanna use old telephone poles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Just something that
Well-
shows. So usually I'm one of the first people there in the mornings when there's games. And so yeah, I guess maybe I did unlock the gate this weekend. And where I park, and then that kind of sets the stage.
That's
for
what, yeah,
everyone
we've done
else
that
to
before too, but by 2 o'clock or whenever I swung by, they were, I mean, they weren't on like just beginning grass, they were, which is the problem, they were on the line that our septic goes out.
Right.
going back to that, I will ask James again, because we did talk about a sign being placed on the post that is in the middle of the fence, going to the backfield, basically saying, stay off the grass. A sign there is different than being on the field. That way people have fair warning. If you're going by there, you cannot miss
I
that
know,
sign.
we
Yeah,
keep saying this,
but-
though,
but see,
since I joined, it's
I
been.
mentioned that whole thing,
Can I
and he
just
did the same thing, because I don't want to put signs up.
James at one point did say that that is acceptable, that we could do that.
Okay,
All right, well, things take time. Things take time, we can just say, forget it and not pursue it. Other thing is, call the police. One person getting tickets is gonna raise a lot of crap. But just, it's sort of like, I hate to point it out to you, Mariah, but you go to these, you're at these practices, do you approach different people?
yes,
Okay.
yes, all the time, I go over to people, you have to back your car up here on the grass.
Good.
This is a septic system, you have to come down.
But see, the thing is that they don't know that, that's the
Right,
problem.
they don't know
They
it, they're
just-
like, oh, I have no idea. I'm
And
like, no, I know, there's no signs.
And it's not like
I'm
they're
just letting
being
you know.
jerks, they're just
No.
trying to stay off the road.
No, but I always say something,
Yeah.
always.
And so I think that intuitively, a piece of telephone pole would do the trick, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. We don't have to listen to, because I drive by and I'm like, because my concern is that we got a budget, we actually can do something, and then all of a sudden we find out that something's crushed, it's gonna cost us, the town's gonna charge us
Yeah, if
$4,500.
you could ask James about that, if he could just stretch it, because it's really that one section that's.
And it's temporary until the basketball comes in.
Okay, so we do have to work on, are we still working on the spending plan? We have a pretty good shakeout on that
Yes.
for this year?
yes.
Well, can we, at the next meeting perhaps, everybody go through it, and then we vote on allocating the different funds? I mean, cause
Yeah.
there are other things that were in there that included, replace the boardwalk, simple thing is the beanbag toss, the cornhole things, we could make those, we had Gaga setups, which is again, a simple, anyone play Gaga?
Lady
You have
Gaga.
to do it on pavement though.
I've seen that
Because the
on-
ball bounces.
Well, I've seen it done on grass, and that over time it becomes packed down.
Oh, okay, I've never
Yeah.
seen it on
Yeah.
grass. We have them at the schools, and then
Yeah.
it came from the camp Kiev that the kids go to, but it's always been on pavement.
But not at Kia, but at Wabash, the other camp. the sister camp, they have it on the grass.
Okay,
Um,
I just don't know how the ball would bounce.
What's that?
I just don't know how the ball would bounce.
It bounces fine, I mean.
It's not a ball. Where we,
I mean,
I come from,
I don't
here's
know, I
bat,
mean,
here's ball, swing.
honestly, it would make so much more sense if it were on grass, because the kids come out and their knuckles are all bleeding because you go down and you scoop,
Oh.
Yeah.
but it's not supposed to be played on grass, that's why I'm
Well,
switching it.
yeah, it's a matter of, here, talking about a
You
kid that
spike the
got
ball and you get another person out, because they don't catch it and it hits them.
it, your NA, was it 16 feet across? Octagonal shape, and there's a ball, and you have to, it's pretty simple, it's inexpensive to make.
It's just to let you know
Or
the
by.
lunch was getting on.
So, the only question with that, and I'm not anti-cornhole, but that losing a beanbags, losing a ball,
We were punching stuff.
Here, the bean top, one idea for the cornhole, we'd have to get approval from the library, but leave it set down there. The kids go in there and we could ask them, just bring it in. We're gonna give this something young kids can do besides the jungle gym. We could leave it up at the field house. Beanbags, we could make them and put beans in them, or you could just buy them with a plastic bead in it that's weatherproof, and it costs like $20 a pair. And if we lose a lot of them, well, we move it to a different spot. But you look at different places, like the Linfield Marketplace, they have it out there. Give something for people to do.
My drinking, you guys didn't hear about my ping pong drinking games.
you'll have to wait tomorrow.
You're gonna incorporate that into,
Yes.
alright.
Alright.
should we-
Alright, now, so the
Let me
last
say-
part,
Yeah, so you said the recycling, that would come under mellow, because I don't know if DPW would want to be responsible for picking this stuff up.
I do it,
Pick up the recycling?
bring it right down and dump, not charge us anything, Mellow charges for recycling company. That's a new thing, and if they didn't, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, if they wanna, if it's free and they wanna do some recycling, but if we bought a couple of recycling bins and I had to
Just
go down
the
and
big blue, or,
yeah, big blue thing,
yeah,
and I had to go down and put them in the back of my trailer and drive down the dump and go, I had no problem doing that. I feel, you guys see how much stuff they throw out, how many
Yeah.
water balls they throw out,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Let's talk to James and see if there's.
And I don't know why, if we don't talk to Tracy, I mean, we got it, why with the DPW going back and forth by that field 100 times and going by the dump, they could do the same thing too. So that doesn't seem to be a huge, it's picking up, dropping off. It just would be such a, because I just, you drive by there and every single water bottle goes right in the trash.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
next meeting,
Yes,
Can we just all kind of work on that scheduling software thing?
yeah, definitely, I feel like we started and,
I'm looking right now at the town site. The week of the 14th, they're closed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they are booked every night. So the question is, do we go before or after? The Tuesday, the 22nd, the Board of Selectmen's meeting.
so that Monday, the 21st,
Is open.
okay?
Is everybody okay with that day? I'm open.
I am.
October what?
21st. Or? I don't know if you're coming back from something, that's why I just want to make sure.
October 21st?
Monday.
Should be okay.
I have no friends in real life.
You're not jet setting off to here, there, and everywhere?
I don't go very far.
Dump's
just
not
talking about
open on
going to
Tuesday,
Keys.
Thursday, so you're not going to, you're not gonna be dropping recycling.
Yeah, I don't mind, I can do anything.
Alright, so I will put it on the calendar when I get home,
Okay.
or tomorrow morning, whatever, along with the other stuff, so.
6 o'clock?
Yes. Is 6 a problem for everybody?
No,
No, today was unusual, my
Okay.
appointment
I just wanna
should
make
have
sure
been
that was an
15
issue.
minutes and it was.
And I know for Dave, I'm gonna have to make sure he's okay with it because, I certainly want his input and he's a valuable member of the group here, so.
Yeah, it's just tough, like, with my kids just getting homework done and all of that.
Would you rather wait a half an hour or would you?
No, that's okay.
I can't go sooner unfortunately, because
No, that's okay.
I got home
It
tonight,
was,
got here
he
quarter of.
had to work on a project and I had to.
I just wanna make sure if there's a time that works better. I can't do early, but I can do
No,
later,
that's,
so.
that
Alright, so and next meeting on the 21st at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
It is now 7:28, and do I hear a,
Make a motion to
was.
adjourn
Good
the
night.
meeting?
do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
You sure there's no discussion?